Hello guys, back again. This time I thought we'd veer off video games themselves and news and getting to video game related slash movie news. For those who don't know, basically there is reported news on Resident Evil 6. That would be the next movie, 6. They're slowly catching up to the game in numbers. The writer and director of Resident Evil franchise currently, Paul Anderson's wrote in every Resident Evil movie, but he's recently been the director of the last of three of them. But as he said, he's starting to work on the next Resident Evil movie. That he basically said he'd be going home tomorrow and start writing the next Resident Evil. Uh, they went out at the summit where he was, where they actually a 3D film summit where they actually asked an audience member actually asked a question about the franchise. He said, and that's what he said. So that's what he's doing next. Again, he kind of hinted last year that Resident Evil would be the next thing he's working on after the 3D disaster movie he just got done with. So and then in February he said that basically the wheels aren't quite in motion yet for the next Resident Evil movie. But the one thing he did also announce in this summit was a returning character to the movie, and that was basically making her. She had showed up in Resident Evil since 2012's Resident Evil Retribution, and that is Ling Bingbing, who will return as Ada Wong in the sequel. That is like the only real news he pointed out. He also called it Rising Resident Evil. That's what he referred to Resident Evil 6 when he's talking about the movie, which, again, playing on words, could possibly be titled Resident Evil Rising. Uh, which is kind of like how they have named the movies, right? One word, two words, whatever. That's how they name the movies. Again, he's written and produced all five Resident Evil movies. He's directed three of them, and and Resident Evil movies are kind of hit and miss. I know fans of the series don't like them because they completely they're no longer even part of even close following the canon of the games. They really only kind of got close to the first one, a little bit on the second one. I mean, when they pushed Nemesis so fast through the movies, I was kind of like, wow, they're really like zipping through the games really fast, and they're no longer really. But how can you really tie into the games? I mean, the games have changed bad companies how many, three times now? You started, Umbrella, and then you've moved on. I mean, do you really want necessarily the movies following the games, considering people complain about how the games are? Um, for me, I just take it as a pure science fiction movie. I don't really expect it to be exactly like the game. I mean, when you get to six movie in a franchise at one point, you're not even going to be close to what you originally were. Making a video game and making a movie are two different mediums, and the audiences really do expect two different things. That's kind of like Lord of the Rings. They took some liberty with Lord of the Ring movies because doing like the council scene in Lord of the Ring book would be incredibly long and incredibly boring in a movie if you were to do the whole thing compared to like you know just focusing on action stuff. That certain things don't fit in movies. Now, would I call the Resident Evils more of a less a generic science fiction movie? Absolutely. Is it not the best science fiction movie ever world? It's not the worst. You could just go there and have fun with it, and that's it. I mean, there's really not much than that. You've had the same main character in five movies. Pretty sure, because her husband is the director and writer, that she'll be back for number six. It's pretty much a given at this point. So, do you actually like the Resident Evil movies? I don't hate them. Again, I roll my eyes at how they've done the stories. Hey, she looks evil in the end of this movie. In the next movie, she's not evil, and stuff like that. But I just consider them generic science fiction movies that I can sit and have fun just watching, shut my mind off, and have fun watching it. Not really horror movies anymore. Not just science fiction in my mind. And again, they're very popular. They wouldn't make another one. Now, the rumors are, of course, that Resident Evil 7 will be unveiled at E3. Clearly, this movie and that game will not coincide together because if he's writing the movie now, there's no way the movie would be done in time to be around when Resident Evil 7 comes on, unless they were to show a teaser and the actual game isn't going to be out for 2 years from now. And even then, that may be pushing depending on the release date when this will be done. So what do you think about another Resident Evil movie in the series? Are you excited for it? Or are you done with the series? I know some people kind of like love Resident Evil. They're big fans. And maybe a new game comes out or something. And they go, oh, I'll go watch the new movie because, you just get so excited over the games. You're like, oh, this time they're gonna do it the way I want. And then you go there and you might be disappointed. Or again, any series that's been around, going to 6 movies, either loses what it originally was, or can get, quite frankly, if it's the same old, boring. So would you go see Resident Evil 6 when it comes out? Or do you think they need to go in a totally different direction with new characters in the series? Love to hear your guys' opinions like always, and I'll talk to you guys later.